Where to start? Where to fucking start with this game? Atomic Fall. Such great potential. It truly, truly did have a great, great potential. I honestly wanted to love this game. I wanted it to be fantastic. I was actually excited for this game. But this is one of those games that I honestly had to put down and just stop playing. I did advance a lot in the story, but it was frustrating a couple of the bugs and glitches that I faced. But before we get into that, let's get into the positive, right? The setting, quite unique. We're in a British area. Basically, very typical with a lot of these apocalyptic or post apocalyptic games. It's not technically apocalyptic because the rest of the world is fine, but this area has just been devastated. Kind of like Stalker 2. But yeah, no, this game, the setting, while unique, nothing I would call revolutionary. It truly, like, it didn't stand out. It felt like any other, world, place, apocalyptic, post apocalyptic game, survival game. But there's some issues with it. Some major, major issues. Um, Setting was good. The combat. Let's get started with the combat. The combat was truly some of the worst combat I have ever uh, had. I've ever played, had, or whatever you want to call it. It's just uh, because a lot of the enemies are in fact at the start of the game, at least they are melee oriented. The moment you have a pistol, they kind of just start falling back. Sure, there's some enemy types that, regardless if you have a weapon, will charge you, and while that brings a good feel, or a good feeling into the combat, at the end of the day, the AI, the NPCs, are very, very simplistic in how they attack you. Literally in the second area, I don't want to spoil it in case you truly want to play. If you truly want to play it, but I'll give this game some time to go back in the oven and just let it continue cooking because it's unfinished. It truly is unfinished. But regardless, as I was going back, I had three NPCs literally just walk in a straight line towards me. They were in a group patrolling, and three of these NPCs spotted me and started to follow me and attack me, but they all did it in a straight line. They were all melee oriented enemies, and they all just came literally in a straight line, and I just shot them one after the other after the other. The AI is not the best in this game. All right. Another thing that I've noticed in this game was the swarms. There's a lot of creatures here. I feel they added them just to add. They were more of a nuisance than an actual threat, in my opinion. They were just kind of there, and they made navigating the world just tedious. Not really like, oh, I should be careful because there's a mutant over there or something like that. No, it's just like, God damn it, I have to face these enemies again. They became such a nuisance. Enemies with weapons, enemies with guns, I mean, with firearms. While a little bit challenging, they will either have God aim or they will have the aim of a blind man with an automatic weapon, and they're looking at the sky. Right? And it's really hit or miss. Sometimes it's a very fun gunfight. Another time it is just everywhere. Right? I will say the sound cues in this game kind of make it not even that fun in the gunfight, just because a lot of them will say, "I'm reloading," and they will just yell it at full volume in your face, and at that point you could just go out and just start, killing them. Melee combat, not that fun. There's a lot of skill points for melee combat. It's just melee combat. It's there. It's nothing to go. It's not bragging rights. If Fallout has simplistic melee combat, this one is equal on that level, right? If we're comparing it to Fallout, it's simplistic. It's just it's there. The melee combat is there if you want to do it. Um, but let's get down to the main issues. I know I'm giving a lot of I'm talking negatively about this game, but truly, I did try to give it a chance. It's not for me. And I think the reason why that is, it's because it lost its identity. It tries to be too many games at the same time, and it delivers in nothing, right? I know what they say, right? You know, it's better to be it's not good to be a master of one thing, right? A jack of all trades, master of none. The full phrase of that is a jack of all trades, master of none is still better than a master of, jack of all trades, master of none is still better than a master of one, right? But this game truly does not excel in everything it's trying to be. And it's just uh, inventory space. You have to be conservative with it. You could craft a lot of things on the fly, so there's not an issue there. But inventory is still very limited. You can carry 4 weapons. But it's just, it tries to be a survival game, and then it tries to be like a Far Cry game, an action adventure game, and it just doesn't work. I don't know what this game tries to go for. I truly don't understand it. It's everywhere. It truly is everywhere, and we have the gameplay. It doesn't feel that it does anything particularly great, right? Like at some moments it tries to be this great exploration survival game, and then at other times it goes back to trying to be a Far Cry game. And I think the problem becomes that it tries to be so many types of games that it just does not feel like its own game, if that makes any sense, right? It's tedious in certain situations. It's very uh, it punishes you when it shouldn't, and it might be my fault. I did play this on the hardest difficulty. I think that's like survivalist or veteran or something like that, right? I like to give myself always a challenge. It could be mine, but even in the difficulty sections, they have different. I think there's like 5 difficulties, and you might be like, "Oh, okay, that makes sense, right?" It's like normal, hard, veteran, and easy and super easy or story mode, right? No, that's not the difficulties. The difficulties are literally, it's like combat oriented, story oriented, survivalist oriented, which is like the recommended, and then it's like veteran, and then there's another one which is like for kids or something around those areas. So the difficulties is literally trying to switch how you play the game, and while being unique in itself, it fails spectacularly when you go into the game because you can't, at least for me, you can't make a game for everyone, right? If you're going to make it a combat oriented game where the combat is the main gimmick of your game, go for it. But you shouldn't put an option where it's like, oh, now we're going to do survivalist, right? So now you're limited in everything. Like, unless the AI, you programmed it so well that the AI changes how it functions in each difficulty, you shouldn't do it. You should not do it. And that's what happened here. There were so many types. I feel that's what really effed them up. They tried to be a game for everyone that at the end of the day, it just did not work, right? And if you want a survival game, there's survival elements in here, but it's not the key focus. If you want an exploration game, there is exploration elements, but it's not the main focus. If you want a story-driven game, there's story elements in here, but it's not the main focus. And that's the problem. That's the main problem with this game. It doesn't focus on anything, right? It's not there. It truly isn't there. Like in Stalker 2, the story, while simplistic, we're there for the survival elements and the gunplay or the combat, right? I'm not there for the Stalker 2 for the story. The story is good by itself, but we're there for the survival elements of it, the exploration elements, right? If we're in Far Cry there, we're for the exploration elements, a little bit of the combat, etc. But this game, it tries to do everything at once and succeeds at nothing. And I truly do feel This is where this game just did not accomplish it. It tries to be everything and nothing at the same time, right? Stealth. There's stealth elements in here. I no, just useless. Just go for the headshots. It's easier stealth. Um, and then there's one thing that just made me quit the game entirely: the bugs, the goddamn bugs, and the immersion in this game. Right? Again, it might not be my type of game. It just might not be, and that's fine. I have no problem with that. But the main problem here is the bugs. I get punished for getting better gear, right? And what I mean by that is the moment you acquire a weapon that has a magazine, the moment you reload, the bullets that you did not use in your magazine disappear. And you might be, what's the problem with that? In the difficulty that I was playing in Veteran, you're only allowed to carry roughly around, at least at the start of it, 30 bullets. Everything has roughly around 5 bullets in the magazine, in the internal magazine, or in the revolver. Once you start getting magazine weapons, that switches. So now you have roughly around, let's say, 45 bullets, and you got 15 in your gun, or you have 10 in your gun, 10 in your magazine. Well, once you reload those 10, once you reload that, right? Let's say you use 7 bullets and you have 3 left, and you reload that, you don't keep those 3 bullets. They just disappear. And if you keep doing that, very quickly you run out of bullets. Again, you're only allowed to have roughly around maybe 30 to maybe 50 bullets of each weapon. And if you're playing this on a higher difficulty, you run out of ammo very quickly. Headshots actually do matter and all of that good jazz. The bugs was really what killed me. That bug particularly just made me drop the game because I could not, there was no point, at least for me. It just bothered me. I saved up enough rifle ammo. I had roughly around 40. I reloaded a gun that had a magazine in it. It had 25 bullets, and then I only had X amount left, right? I used it. I shot it. I had like maybe 15 rounds left in that magazine. I reloaded. Those 15 bullets was gone. The gun reloaded, and I only had 20 in total, and that was it. That was it. And that just took me out of the immersion. That, and they also do something in this game which I despise, at least for me. It breaks a lot of the immersion because, again, I don't know what type of game I'm playing. I thought it was a survival game or something like Fallout, but it was very survival-ish. I don't know what the type of game this is. Basically, to enter or explore an area, a building in the open world, you have to go through an animation. There's either cracks in the wall or you crawl under something. Instead of making a button that you just crawl in or you just mantle over something, there's a full animation, which lasts 2 seconds. And you have to do this every single time you explore a building. Again, there's no reason to have this in 2025, right? There's no reason. You could have honestly just made the jump button to jump in something, right? Or crouch to go in somewhere. You did not have to add the animation. And you might be saying, well, how bad is that? In every segment, in every area, every building per se is explorable. So you have to go through this animation quite often. Quite often. It's rare when you find a building that's just completely destroyed and you could just explore it. Most buildings, you have to crawl somewhere or jump over something. And there's an animation for that. It just broke my immersion. I feel this game just needs more time in the oven. I feel the devs have a great game here, but it wasn't ready. The bugs, the game doesn't know what type of game it is. Just did not bring me in, did not suck me into this game, right? Honestly, I have to give this game a solid 6 out of 10, maybe 5 out of 10. You might like it, guys, but truly the exploration, for me at least, it's just it has too many mistakes. This is one of those few games where I just cannot recommend it to someone at the current state it's in. So if you want to try it, go ahead. It's just I'm not trying to spoil anything because if you truly want to explore this game, do it. I'm just giving you the problems it has, right? It just no, just no. A solid 5.5 out of 10. That's my overall score. A 5.5 out of 10.